bad these days. I'm right out of luck. Last week, nobody came here, excepting for that merchant who came on Monday and left the following morning without paying his bill.
Innkeeper!
Oh, now, just look at what's coming today.
Oh, it's just like a carnival. Look at that tall, lanky fella dressed like the Lord knows what, and the fat little chap beside him.
Hey, what a ridiculous pair. The tall one looks as though he's proud enough to be the noblest lord in Spain. But just you watch the welcome I give them.
Innkeeper, would you be gracious enough to give us lodging for tonight?
Well, if his lordship wishes to sleep the night here, his lordship will find everything his lordship needs. Everything that is, excepting a bed. That's the one thing we haven't got, a bed.
Innkeeper,
Sir?
I can accept anything now that weapons have become my clothes and fight's my way of resting.
Good heavens, I've never come across anything like it before.
Innkeeper, I thank you for your courteous welcome, and beg you to see to it that my faithful servant Sancho Panza has everything that he may require.
I shall always be at his lordship's service.
And take care of my faithful steed Rosinante, my devoted companion through all dangers and perils.
Right, well, everything will be done as his lordship so desires. And now, if his lordship will be so kind as to follow me, I'll show him to his room.
My soul, we see all sorts and conditions in our poor little inn, but I don't think I've ever seen people like you two before. You might pass at a pinch, but your master? Who on earth is he? What's his name?
Don Quixote, the knight with the sad face. He's one of the world's bravest men and the best knight-errant that ever set foot on this earth.
A knight-errant? What's that?
You are an ignorant girl if ever there was one. A knight-errant is a man who is at one moment an emperor and another a poor slave. One day he's nothing, and another day he has 3 or 4 kingdoms which he proceeds to give to his servant.
I don't understand you at all. All I can see is a man in his late 40s, thin and scraggy, and looking a bit lost. But to say he's a knight-errant...
Well, since you insist on a very detailed explanation, let me give you one. In a little village in Spain, there was a gentleman who had an old lance, a rusty shield, a scraggy horse, and a greyhound. When he had nothing to do, which was very nearly every day, he used to read books about the ancient practice of chivalry. He used to read them so enthusiastically that he soon forgot about looking after his estate. His poor head was full of stories of battles and wonderful deeds, of battles fought for beautiful ladies in distress. And it occurred to him that there would be nothing more beautiful in this world, nothing more useful for his country than to revive this idea of a knight-errant. So he decided to set out on his horse and look for people in distress to try to help them and set injustice to right.
Well, what about the horse then?
An old bony mare that he called Rosinante.
And who's the lady he's carrying out these deeds for?
She's a farm girl, at least a head taller than I am. She's a real strapping lass who could fight it out with the best of the knight-errants in this world. Her skin's dark as it could be because she's always out in the sunshine. But my master says it doesn't matter a scrap if she's rough and uncultured. He treats her like a princess. If only you could hear how he sighs over her.
Dear sovereign lady, the man who languishes far away from you, the man whose captive heart suffers and rejoices in its suffering, wishes that you, sweet Dulcinea, may have the rest that he has lost. The passage of his sad days is for you. A single word from you can keep him in this life. A single word from you can make him depart hence.
Well, it's all very funny. But what have you got to do with it all?
Me? Oh, I'm just a simple farm labourer. I know I'm not very intelligent, but all the same I left my wife and children without a second thought to go with the master. For every knight has got to have a squire.
But how did he persuade you to follow him?
Dear master, I beg you not to forget the island that you promised me in reward for my service. I promise it will be well governed, whatever its size.
My dear friend Sancho, from time immemorial it has been the custom of knight-errants to give their squires all the islands, all the kingdoms that come their way in the practice of their knightly duties. You should know perfectly well that I shall not be amiss in observing this custom.
Oh, dear master, I know that with your great powers and gifts you will be able to give me exactly what I need.
My friend, you will certainly have everything you need.
Well, have you got your island?
Oh, I haven't got it yet, of course, not yet.
Oh, well, what have you got?
Well, for the moment I haven't got anything, but I've already seen a lot of things, and I've had a lot of adventures with him. One day, the two of us were going along very quietly, my master on his horse and myself on a donkey, when we saw two monks on two big mules. They were followed by some servants. There was a carriage with 4 or 5 men on horseback accompanying it. There was a lady in the carriage. She was going to Seville to join her husband.
If I'm not far mistaken, I think that we're going to have an adventure that will make all our previous ones seem pale in comparison. Those dark faces that you see coming towards us can be none other than those of some wizards who have captured some princess or other and are keeping her captive in that coach.
Oh, master, please do look carefully, I beg you. Don't let yourself be carried away by the devil. I've looked as hard as I can, and I can see only 2 monks and a lady in a coach. Please listen to me. Don't do anything silly.
Hideous henchmen of the devil! I order you to set free the princess you have captured. If you don't do as I say, be ready to receive the punishment you deserve.
Oh, sir, far from being what you accuse us of, we are simply 2 monks who are traveling on business for our monastery.
I'm not going to be taken in by your words. I know you too well, you miserable scum.
Thereupon he rushed at the 2 monks with his lance. One of them fell to the ground, and the other one ran away terrified. Naturally, I went forward to take what I could from the one that my master had felled. But the servants rushed on me and gave me a sad beating. Well, I got up as best as I could, and I heard my master shouting at the door of the coach.
Madam, you may go on your way. This sturdy arm has just delivered you from your enemies. This sturdy arm has punished your tormentors. No doubt you wish to know the name of the one who has saved you. Know then that I am Don Quixote, a knight-errant, the slave of the beautiful Dulcinea. As a reward for what I have just done for you, all I ask you is to go to Toboso where Dulcinea lives. Tell her the wonderful story of how I freed you from your oppressors.
But the driver of the coach was furious and refused point blank to forget about going to Seville and to go to Toboso. Thereupon my master threw his lance aside, picked up his sword, and attacked him. The driver waited for him, sword in hand, and then a terrible fight began. The driver struck one terrible blow which split my master's helmet and cut one half of his ear away. At this, my master took his sword in both hands and hit the driver such a blow that he fell unconscious. My master now rushed forward to finish him off, but fortunately the lady in the coach, in spite of her terror, came out to beg him to spare the poor man. My master most graciously deigned to grant her request.
Now, look here, you. I don't want to catch you talking to my servant again and stopping her from doing her work.
Oh, but he's been telling me such a lot of interesting things about his master.
Oh, yes. His master the knight. He seems just a little peculiar to me.
He seemed a little peculiar to me at first, but now
Please tell us another of the adventures you've had with him. Do listen to what he says, Master. It's all so strange.
Well, if you want me to, I'll tell you some more about my master.
Oh, very well. Go on.
My dear Sancho, fortune grants every wish. Look at those fearsome giants over there. There are more than 30 of them. What does that matter? What care I? I'm going to attack those fierce enemies of God and man. Their remains will be the foundation of our wealth.
Master, I'm very sorry, but I can't see any giants.
You can't see the giants? But look, they're over there. They're tall and they've got big long arms. Arms a mile long.
Oh, Master, please be careful. Those are windmills. The things you think are arms are merely sails of the windmills.
My poor dear friend, it's well seen that you don't know very much about adventures. Those are giants. Take my word for it. Those are giants. I'm an expert in these matters. But if you're frightened, you keep away from it all. Go over there and say your prayers while I engage in this dangerous fight where the odds are so heavy against me.
Oh, good heavens, there he goes, screaming as loud as he can.
Wait for me, you tyrants, you cowards! Wait for me! It's but a single knight who's attacking you.
The wind has sprung up and the windmill sails are beginning to turn.
It's too late to try and defend yourselves now. I'm coming! Watch out!
There he goes. Oh dear, what's going to happen? He's charging that windmill. He's going straight for it. It was bound to happen. The sails of the windmill have struck him to the ground. I must go and see if he's all right. You must not go on trying to fight those windmills, Master. I tell you, those are windmills.
Let me be. I know more about warfare than you do. I'm fighting a much cleverer enemy than you may imagine. A moment ago they were giants, but another enemy saw me coming. He changed them all into windmills. But just you watch. With my trusty sword, I'll soon show them what a true knight-errant can do.
There's nothing to be done with him. Wait a moment, Master, wait a moment. You can hardly walk straight.
I must confess that I'm a little shaken by that fall. I'm not going to complain, because a true knight-errant doesn't complain, even if he's had his stomach split open by his adversary.
I hope the poor squire is allowed to scream just a little, because I can tell you, Master, that at the least scratch I shout. I shout as if someone were beating me to death.
Come, my dear friend, have a little courage. Follow my example. Have you ever seen a knight so bold as me in your life? Have you ever seen anybody so brave, so courageous as me? Have you ever read about so skillful a warrior?
I confess, Master, I never have read about so skillful a warrior, since I can't read. But never in my life have I met anyone like you.